So I want to tell you a story today, okay? And I don't usually tell stories because, to be honest, my life isn't very interesting. And there really aren't a lot of moments in my life where I can really say, hey, you know, this is a story that I can tell. And I'm not saying this instance of my life was like super interesting per se, but this is the one moment, this is like one of the few moments where I can really be like, hey, you know, if I tell this story, it won't be like really bad, I guess. I don't know how to word it. Probably read the title, okay? And the story I'm about to tell you today is the time I almost got my friend arrested. And to really understand this story, I really have to give some context. There was a moment in my life. In simple terms, I was going through sort of a bad boy phase, alright? My reasoning for this, right, and you gotta bear with me here. My reasoning for this is because I thought if I played a sort of a bad boy character, it would get me more ladies. Now, evidently that didn't work because I'm me, but there was a point in my life, okay, where I tried to play the bad boy character. During most of my freshman year, I developed this habit or hobby, right, where I would climb buildings in the middle of the night, right? I was a little bit of a delinquent, okay? And in so doing this, it posed a few issues, okay? First and foremost, we were actually breaking the law, because in my state, if you are under the age of 18, you're not supposed to be out alone past 1 a.m. by yourself, and I was like 15 or 16 during this. I was 15 during this time, so I was breaking the law, okay? I was a little bit of a delinquent, alright? Sometimes I would very subtly mention it to my female classmates. It sounds horrible, and it really is, okay? It's very cringe. And the second issue with climbing buildings is that obviously it's very, very dangerous, and at any point in time, I could have fallen and possibly died. I didn't end up dying, obviously. And so yes, this became something I did from time to time, was just sneak out in the middle of the night at like 2, 3, 4 a.m. and just climb buildings. Now here's the part in this timeline where today's story begins. It was the summer of my freshman year. I think it was either 2018 or 2019. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it was the summer of my freshman year, and I was just texting Taco one night. You guys might know Taco, you guys might not. He's appeared in a few of my videos. It was 2, 3 a.m. because what other time would you ever text your friends, am I right? And I mentioned to Taco that I was about to go on another one of my night incursions, alright? I just mentioned it to him. I really didn't expect him to really want to show any interest in tagging along, because when you actively mention to your friend that you're breaking the law, most of the time they try to talk you out of it, not join you. But Taco and I were daring young men, alright? And he took up the challenge, and he was just like, you know, can I go with you? And I was taken aback. And I didn't always go on these adventures alone, right? Like, a lot of the time I actually went with other people. But I had never gone with Taco before, so I thought it was really interesting to take him on one of these incursions and really just let him feel what it was like, right? And just like that, within the span of 2 minutes, we had made this plan of what we were gonna do at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And the issue during this time was that neither one of us actually had our licenses for driving, and most of the time I just walked to wherever I was going at night. But Taco lived quite far away, right? So it wasn't like I could just walk to him, because that would take so long by foot. So we agreed to meet halfway, and Taco took his bike, and we meet at this Kroger, right? And it's, like I said, it's like 3, 4 in the morning. We go in the Kroger, we buy some drinks, you know, it's something that I did. And so while we were sat in that Kroger, Taco shows me this video of this show that he's been watching. And it's a Netflix show called 13 Reasons Why. Now, if you've seen this show, you probably know what scene I'm talking about. And Taco pulls out his phone, and he's like, I have something to show you. He's laughing his head off. I just pushed Aqua's bed without realizing that I'm the only one with a bed left. I'm gonna lose this game. Please. Oh, half a heart, not even close. And the scene shows a group of high school students ganging up on another high school student in the bathroom. And I kid you not when I say the scene depicts them sticking a mop, the mop handle, up this guy's up his I don't feel like you can really fill in the dots here, right? I don't think I can. I need to go into detail. Now, the scene did go into detail. The scene went into very much detail. And 15-year-old me, I have never seen anything like this. I am absolutely traumatized. Okay, I'm sitting there in the Kroger store at like 4 or so in the morning. I am traumatized. I have never seen anything like this. Uh-oh, this is bad. Boom, baby. That's how we do it. No! And next up, we start doing the action. This is where the action begins. This is when we start climbing those buildings. You have to keep in mind that I live in a relatively small town. It's not like we were climbing skyscrapers. I don't want you to imagine us climbing skyscrapers. As cool as that would sound, and as many ladies as that would have gotten me, we weren't doing that. We were just climbing like shorter buildings. We weren't climbing skyscrapers. We laid down on those rooftops and we talked about life, and we looked upon the stars, and we pondered where our futures would inevitably take us, and it was a good time. It was a good time. We hung out for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, and we said our goodbyes, and I headed home as usual, and Taco headed home as well. And it was all fine and dandy, and I remember before I went to bed, I made a joke. I was like, I didn't get caught. It was nothing out of the ordinary, to be honest. And I really wasn't expecting the text that Taco would send me that next morning. And basically, I wake up, I check my phone, and he says, I did. That was all he said. He said, I said, I didn't get caught, lol, and he says, I did. And I'm just sat there, and I just think it's a joke, because, I mean, it was such a simple response, and I was like, there's no way he's not messing with me, you know, he's messing with me, he's scaring me. It was his first time doing something like this. And so I was like, there's absolutely, like, what kind of luck do you have to have in the world to get caught on your very first time, when I had done this dozens of times? And he basically explained it to me, and no, he wasn't joking. He actually did get caught. Before we left, I had told Taco to wear neon. Now, why would I tell Taco to wear neon? Well, it's the middle of the night. It's pitch black. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to do was have Taco get hit by a car. Okay, I was being a considerate friend. I never considered the fact that wearing neon would make him very much visible to the police that happened to drive by. Honestly though, what kind of luck do you have for this to happen? Basically, on his way home, a police officer drove by him, and him wearing bright neon in the middle of the night, you could see him from a mile away. And it was a bad scenario, okay? It was a bad scenario. Basically, he got caught by the police, okay, and he was breaking the law. He gets caught by this police officer who just happened to be driving at the exact same route and time that Taco was headed home. Your very first time doing something like this, and you just happen to take the same route a police officer takes. Like what kind of luck do you have to have in the world? So the police pulls Taco over, or I don't know if that's the term you would use. He was on a bike, so like he pulls Taco over on his bike. And he asks him, you know, what is he doing now? And you can't blame the police officer for thinking this way, but he thought we were doing drugs, because, like, why else? I mean, like, what kind of psychotic kid walks out in the middle of the night at like 2, 3 in the morning and doesn't do drugs? You know, we were weird. We didn't do drugs, and that makes us weird, obviously. He was asking Taco, you know, what he was doing, and he said, you know, you were just hanging out with a friend, which obviously that sounded horrible. That sounds horrible, okay? Hanging out with a friend at that time of day, that sounds suspicious. But it was the truth. The truth was, we were literally just hanging out at 4 in the morning. And he drives him home, and he drives Taco home. Now, this is the part where the title says I almost got my friend arrested, because Taco didn't get arrested, but he almost did, because the police officer called Taco's mom and drove Taco home. Now, if in the event that Taco's mom didn't pick up, he would have gone to jail, you know, and that would have been we would be telling a whole nother story right today if that had happened. Taco doesn't get arrested, luckily, but the good thing was he didn't get arrested. Let's go. That's another dub. So he didn't get arrested. I mean, in all honesty, if he had taken one for the team and had gotten arrested, I could say I got my friend arrested. Do you know how many more views I would get if I titled that video like that? But no, he had to get almost arrested, so now the video won't do as well. But yeah, that wraps up the story, really. We returned to school the next Monday, and we had a laugh about it. And our English teacher had asked us if we wanted to share anything interesting, you know, from the weekend, and we smirked at each other. We didn't tell the class. That would have gotten me a lot of ladies, but we didn't tell the class because that would have had a bad look. Obviously, everyone would have thought we were doing drugs,